Good evening and welcome to Newsline. This past week has been sober and somber for us, reminding us how fragile life can be when peace and safety in the places we call home are disrupted, reminding us again that life can't change in an instant. And questions of responsibility, justice and survival come sharply into focus, and that's exactly why Newsline exists. Tonight, we'll meet people who refuse to let circumstances define them. We will meet a young cobbler whose hands speak louder than sight, a community demanding answers after tragedy, and then there's a young man determined to reclaim what life tried to take from him. So each story tonight carries courage, challenge, and questions we cannot afford to ignore. This is Newsline Airways, flight 900 hours departing from the NTA network service here in Abuja. And I'm Claire Adelabu Abdurrazak, your captain tonight. We'll make a brief stopover in the newsroom as usual for the news, and then a few commercials before climbing to full altitude. So please fasten your seatbelts, stow your tray tables, and get ready. We're cleared for takeoff. And we start the news tonight with the launch of halal economy. Nigeria has a strong advantage for success with the launch of the National Halal Economy Strategy, which aims at positioning the country within the lucrative global halal market, estimated at $7.7 trillion, commending President Tinubu's foresight with the launch. Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, notes that the strategy fits into the Tinubu administration's economic reforms to boost non-oil revenue, diversify exports and create jobs, as well as several countries have successfully used halal frameworks to boost their economies. Now, the National Halal Economy Strategy is expected to add $1.5 billion to Nigeria's GDP by 2027 and unlock billions more in domestic value. The Senate pledges full support for the initiative, which is projected to establish Nigeria as a competitive player in the global economy. And the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has directed the reconvening of plenary for an emergency sitting on Tuesday, February 10, 2026. A statement signed by the Clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, indicates that all senators are requested to attend. The emergency sitting will commence at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And the Alumni Association of the National Institute, AANI, expresses deep concern over the recent surge of violent attacks across parts of Nigeria, including the tragic killings in communities in Kwara, Benue states, as well as the recent abduction of worshippers in Kaduna State, who thankfully have now been rescued through security intervention. Commending security agencies for the successful rescue efforts in Kaduna, the group says the recurring pattern of killings, kidnappings, and violent assaults across several states has heightened public anxiety, and strategic actions are needed. It further calls for strengthened intelligence operations, enhanced interagency coordination, deeper community engagement, accelerated prosecution of criminal elements, and policy reforms to address root causes of insecurity. And the Nigerian Union of Pensioners has described President Bola Tinubu as the most pensioners-friendly president, whose leadership rekindles the lost hope of senior citizens in the country. This commendation came during the meeting of the Central Working Committee of the Union in Abuja. Mohammed Rabi Aliu reports.
The federal government is up to date in the payment of benefits, particularly the payment of the 32,000 naira increase on pension.
The emergency meeting of the Central Working Committee to brief members of the development in the union and to appreciate the unwavering support of the Tinubu-led administration to pensioners. The president of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Godwin Abumise, says plans are underway to make the union more vibrant. Abumise further asked governors to emulate the gesture in settling the backlog of pensioners' entitlements in their respective states.
Actions of some governors are very commendable. I do not have their list here, but I have to say that particularly the governor of Kano State.
The executive also commended State Council for defending the right of pensioners. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is strengthening collaboration with the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, ARCN, to drive sustainable growth within the nation's aquatic sector. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, disclosed this in Abuja when he played host to the Executive Secretary of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Dr. Abubakar Daban. Chukunonso Mwabweze tells us more.
With over 2 million metric tons annual fish demand deficit, strengthening Nigeria's aquaculture sector to bridge this gap becomes very imperative as the country tackles overdependence on importation. This meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, and the Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Abubakar Daban, is to deepen joint initiatives that focus on climate resilience, capacity building, as well as youth and women empowerment to drive sustainable growth within Nigeria's aquatic sector.
As the ministry pursues programs aimed at increasing domestic food production, improving livelihoods in coastal and riverine communities, and promoting sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, and ASN stand ready to contribute its expertise, institutional capacity, and nationwide research network to this noble task.
Oyetola expressed the ministry's willingness to further engage the council to develop clear framework for collaboration. Chukunonso Mwabweze, NTA News.
And the Renewed Hope International Horse Racing Derby has ended in Daura, Katsina State, with a horse Ramadan earned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerging overall winner of the tournament. The derby attracted competitors from Nigeria, the Republic of Niger, and Burkina Faso. Now, the event aims at promoting regional ties, unity, and preserve the rich equestrian heritage of the region. Awal Khaliru reports.
It was organized by the Horse Racing Federation of Nigeria under the chairmanship of Tajuddin Aminu Dantata. Several trophies were contested for at the event, including those of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Governor Duko Umaru Radda, the Sultan of Sokoto, the Emir of Daura, and the Esu of Nupe. In the President's Cup, race number 23, Division 4, over a distance of 1,600 meters, the horse Ramadan, owned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, emerged first, winning a Salinka and a trophy. Laylatul Qadr, owned by SD Stable, finished second. First place winners received a Salinka and a trophy. Second place winners got 1 million naira, while third and fourth positions earned 600,000 naira and 400,000 naira respectively.
This is the whole objective of organizing a race like this, to bring in the population closer, to make them enjoy the goodness of the equestrian sport.
Our races in the last 3 years, from the beginning of this administration, has always been Renewed Hope.
The Renewed Hope International Horse Racing Derby also showcased the long-standing equestrian traditions of Katsina State. Awan Halaru, NTA News.
All right, and sports is next. Bade Adeleye will be joining us right now. He's right there. Bade, Nigeria is shining at the Major Tennis World Cup. Of course, that's the Davis Cup. Tell us, give us an update. What's happening?
Good news coming from Lagos today, and of course, Team Nigeria have qualified for Davis Cup World Group 2 after defeating their Uzbekistan counterparts 3-1 in the 2026 Davis Cup qualifying playoff in Lagos. Nigeria's #1, Daniel Adeleye, was the cynosure of all eyes during the two-day event. He defeated Ilya Ignatov in 2 straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, to make Nigeria pick the qualification ticket in the men's singles final match. Earlier in the third match of the tournament, the doubles event, Nigeria's duo of Canis Abuja and Michael Emmanuel defeated Denis Istomin and Kumoyon Sultanov 7-6, 6-4 to advance, prompting Nigeria to start the day on a winning note.
So I think that gave me a strong mentality, like, for you to be a champion, you have to be a champion. So I think I really love motivation from doing this.
This victory belongs to Nigeria. This victory is for all of us. This victory belongs to the game of tennis in Nigeria, and this victory is a sign that tennis has...
Of course, now joining us via Zoom from Lagos is the president of the Nigeria Tennis Federation, Victor Oche, as he shares his thoughts on the implications of this victory for Nigeria going forward in this year's Davis Cup. President, many thanks for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, quite interesting. You know, everyone is celebrating historic win for Nigeria. But, you know, talking about, you know, playing at the highest level, you know, in Davis Cup, what does this mean for Nigeria? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you tell us what this means for Nigeria in tennis as we bid to compete at the highest level of Davis Cup? Can you get me? Can you hear me? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm clear. I can hear you clearly.
All right, please go ahead and tell us what this means, you know, for football in Nigeria, for tennis in Nigeria, especially as we bid to compete at the highest level of Davis Cup.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Davis Cup is the World Cup of tennis in the whole world. So just like you have the World Cup of football, you have female football for women and the male one. The male one for tennis World Cup is Davis Cup, while that of the women will be the Billie Jean King Cup. So this Nigeria, since 1989, we have not been to this stage again. This was the last time we ever got to this stage. And how many years down the road we are breaking the jinx? The truth is, it means Nigeria tennis is coming to a stage where it is going global, just like we used to have them in the heydays of the greats like Duke Ndekodizo, the Sadiq Abdullahis, the David Imonitiers, the Tony Moores of this country, who paid their dues for tennis. And once upon a time, when Nigeria was the hub of all tennis activities, you had the Obe hard courts, Dala hard courts, Lord Rumen's Cup. All of that was happening around Nigeria, but suddenly it went down. But we at Nigerian Tennis Federation, with the help of the Nigeria Sports Commission, we are reviving the whole story again and bringing tennis back to the front burner of Nigerian sports. For this victory, it's a step in the right direction.
All right, quite interesting. In September, Nigeria will be competing in the Group 2 proper, and of course will be competing with 25 other nations. What are the chances of Nigeria now, you know, trying to, you know, move to Group 1?
The chances are very bright, I can tell you. I mean, just like we contesting in World Group 2 playoffs, we were the underdogs when it came to teams like Uzbekistan, because they were ranked #1 in the playoffs. And what happened? We defeated them. On paper, go through their statistics, they were way better than us. But when it came to the ground, what happened? We defeated them. I said we would defeat them, and we did defeat them. All we needed was the tenacity of our players, the kind of sponsorship, the kind of training, coaching. They were in camp for over 2 weeks, very disciplined, listened to their coaches, and played out the strategy. And at the end of the day justified the means. We won. And I mean, convincingly too, no doubt about that. So I also believe getting into Group 2 to play, it's going to get tougher, but the tougher, the better, because that's when we prove our mettle.
Quite beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Congratulations to the Nigerian tennis family and, of course, the sports fraternity in general. Many thanks for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, that was the president of the Nigeria Tennis Federation, Victor Oche. Let's quickly talk volleyball now. Our CNS Spikers have claimed the 2025 Nigeria Volleyball Super Cup after a 3-1 win over Nigeria Customs Service in the final in Abuja on Saturday. Customs, despite claiming the first set of the counter, failed to capitalize on their early lead as CNS staged a comeback to take the next 3 sets and ultimately the top prize. It was, however, a different story in the women's final as Nigeria Customs completely outclassed Kwa Spikers in 3 straight sets to claim the Women's Super Cup. 6 teams, each drawn from the men and women's elite and first divisions, competed in the week-long tournament.
This proper preparation, I must give it to the Chief of Naval Staff for all his inputs and all his encouragement to the team. It has been massively progressive for him.
We lost a match against them at the league, but we went preparing. At the end of the day, we were able to take the Super Cup, confirming our superiority.
The Super Cup has brought out new players, new talents, never expected, and that is a good challenge.
And that's our beat on sports tonight. Let's now return to Claire.
All right, thank you, Bade, for bringing us those updates. And talking about the tennis, well, I'm stuck with table tennis. No running around, but much decent fun. Thank you. All right, let's take you to the weather center.